Nobody talks about what happens when the cage door finally opens and you don't walk out. I've been watching people my age for a long time now. I'm older than most of you watching this. And from where I sit, I can see something that most people in their 60s are too close to see. The thing that's really keeping you at that job, it's not what you think it is. You'll tell me it's the insurance. You'll say it's the money. Still a little short. Still one bad year away from disaster. I've heard all of it. Some of it is true. I won't pretend the financial pressure isn't real. But here's what I've learned from watching human beings do what they do. When a person stays in something that exhausts them, long after the joy has left, it's almost never purely about money. It's about something much quieter, much harder to say out loud. It's about not knowing who you are without the job. Think about that for a moment. Not the insurance, not the paycheck, not the pension calculation. Ask yourself, if every financial worry disappeared tomorrow, completely and permanently, would you still feel an urge to keep going in? Would there be a strange, low-grade anxiety when you imagine a Tuesday morning with nothing scheduled? Would the silence of an unstructured day feel less like freedom and more like falling? If you answered yes to any of that, even quietly, even just a flicker of yes, then I'm talking to you. Here's the uncomfortable truth. No one says on YouTube, no one says at the kitchen table, and certainly no one says in the comments. A lot of people in their 60s aren't trapped by the system. They're trapped by themselves. The job became the spine of their identity. The job became the answer to, what do I do? And by extension, who am I? When I was younger, I did the same thing. Work was the structure that held everything upright. It gave me a reason to get dressed. It told me I was useful. It put me in rooms with other people who needed something from me, and I needed something from them. That mutual need felt like belonging. I didn't understand at the time that I had built my sense of self almost entirely on the scaffolding of employment. Until one day, the scaffolding started to come down. And that is when the real fear arrived. Not fear of running out of money, not fear of boredom, fear of confronting the question that work had been drowning out for 40 years. If I stop doing this, who remains? That question is terrifying. It might be the most terrifying question a human being can face. And the brilliant unconscious solution most people arrive at is to simply not face it, to find a perfectly rational reason to keep working. The insurance is too expensive. The savings aren't quite right. Just one more year. Just until Medicare. Just until the plan is airtight. Those reasons are real. I am not dismissing them. But I am saying they are sometimes the respectable cover story for a deeper avoidance. I've watched men retire and be dead within 2 years. Not from disease, from the collapse of meaning. They walked out of the job on a Friday, and by Monday, they were already disappearing. Sitting in the recliner, watching the morning news, waiting for something to need them. They had never, in 40 years, built anything on the inside. The job had done all of that for them. And when the job was gone, the inside was empty. Because we're all comfortable talking about the externals, the micromanagement, the endless meetings, the body that doesn't recover the way it once did. But complaining about the workplace is much more manageable than sitting alone in a quiet room and asking, what do I actually want my life to look like? What have I never given myself permission to pursue? Who am I outside of my function? Most people have no idea. I've sat with people at the end, real people, not abstractions, and I've watched what they regret. Almost no one says, I should have worked longer. Almost no one. But a stunning number say some version of the same thing. I never figured out what I was for on my own terms. I was always working toward something external, always chasing the validation of the institution, the company, the title, the schedule. And now that none of that is here, I'm meeting myself for the first time, and I'm a stranger. So what do you do with this? You start now, not at retirement, now. You don't wait until the job is gone to begin building an inner life. Because if you wait, it might be too late to build one that can hold your weight. What I mean is this. Start asking yourself, before you retire, what pulls you towards something that isn't work? Not a hobby like a weekend chore. I mean, something that makes you lose track of time. Something that doesn't care whether you're 60 or 91. Something that would exist even if no one was watching. No supervisor was evaluating. No paycheck was arriving. For some people, it's building something with their hands. For some, it's teaching what they know. For some, it's sitting still long enough to finally hear the thoughts they've been outrunning for decades. The point is, find it now, not after. You've spent 60 years, maybe more, giving your best hours to an organization. The exhaustion is real. The feeling that time is suddenly shorter than you ever believed it would be. That is profoundly, achingly real. But the deepest waste isn't the hours lost in pointless meetings. The deepest waste is a person who retires, finally free of all of it, and then sits in the silence and realizes they have no idea what to do with themselves. Don't let that be you. The door is not the problem. What you do after you walk through it, that's everything.